Welcome back to Mike and Juju's Movie Corner, where we take you on a nostalgic trip down memory lane to relive and review the cinematic gems of our youth. Today, we're diving into the robotic world of the 1980s with the electrifying classic, Short Circuit. So grab your popcorn and join us as we dissect, critique, and ultimately determine if this film still holds up in the modern era. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mike and Juju.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. Today we're going retro with a film that was a staple in our childhoods, Short Circuit.
That's right, Mike. This 1986 sci-fi comedy starring the lovable robot number 5 who comes alive and tries to navigate human society is a classic that we've been dying to talk about. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Alright, first off, a little background for those of you who might not remember this film. It was directed by John Badham, who also gave us great movies like War Games and Stakeout.
Yep.
It follows the adventures of an experimental military robot that gains consciousness after being struck by lightning. Now the film stars Ali Sheedy, Steve Guttenberg, and of course, that iconic robot, number 5, brought to life by the voice of the one and only Tim Blaney.
Oh man. I remember watching this film on VHS until the tape was worn out. It had action, it had laughs, and it had a robot with more personality than most humans in movies today.
Hey, that's definitely true, Juju. Number 5, or Johnny 5 as he comes to be known, is such a charming character. The film really delivers on the fish out of water concept, with a robot learning about love, friendship, and what it means to be alive.
And let's not forget the incredible special effects for the time. The robot looked so realistic and the way it moved was just amazing.
Absolutely. The effects were groundbreaking for the 80s, thanks to the work of Eric Allard and his team. Now they used a combination of radio-controlled mechanics and animatronics to bring number 5 to life. But hey, it wasn't just about the visuals. The heart of the movie is in its story and the themes that it explores. It's a film that really makes you think about the implications of creating conscious artificial intelligence.
For sure, Mike. It was way ahead of its time when it came to the AI debate.
Definitely.
Plus, it's got that classical 80s soundtrack that's just so catchy.
Hey, definitely the soundtrack is a highlight. But let's talk about performances. Steve Guttenberg as Newton Crosby, the robot's creator, is both lovable and clumsy. And Ali Sheedy as Stephanie Speck, gorgeous, cute. The journalist who helps number 5 brings a great balance of skepticism and warmth to the role.
I've always loved Ali Sheedy in this film. She's so relatable and her chemistry with Gutenberg is just perfect. They really make you believe that a robot and a human could become friends.
Hey, speaking of friendships, Gutenberg's character's friendship with Fisher Stevens' character, Ben, who is a co-worker and friend of Newton Crosby. A really lovable and funny character played perfectly by Fisher.
Oh yes. And let's not forget the villain, Schroeder, played by G.W. Bailey. He's so over the top and hilarious in his determination to get number 5 back under military control.
Classic 80s villain for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this film does have its moments of tension and drama, but it's mostly a feel-good adventure with a message about the potential for peace and understanding between man and machine.
It's a message that's even more relevant today with advancements in AI technology. Plus, it's just a fun ride from start to finish with so many quotable lines and memorable scenes.
Hey, remember when Johnny 5 watches TV and gets a taste of human culture? I mean, dude literally goes from Danger, Will Robinson, to Who's on First in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it with the vacuum cleaner. Classic.
Another good one. Alright guys, let's dive into the plot a little bit. This film starts with a military project showcase where we are introduced to the robots including number 5. After lightning strikes number 5, he gains consciousness and decides to escape the lab, leading to a series of misadventures and encounters with the local population, that makes for an incredible movie.
That's right. And it's through these interactions that number 5 learns about the world and what it means to be alive. It's a coming of age story, but with a robot.
Hey, it's also got a bit of a cautionary tale about playing God with technology. The creators of the robots, Newton and his boss, Dr. Howard Murner, played by Austin Pendleton, they have to really face the consequences of their creation.
But at its core, it's about acceptance and the idea that maybe we're not so different after all.
Definitely.
Number 5 experiences fear, joy, and love, just like any of us.
Hey, let's not forget the humor. This film has some great one-liners and slapstick moments that had us as kids rolling.
Like when number 5 first meets Stephanie's dog, the way he rolls backwards in fear, it goes right through the railing and falls off the porch.
Yeah, it's like a second story drop off, too. Definitely. And the scene with the dog, priceless. The interaction between the two is pure comedy gold.
And the robot's ability to learn and mimic so quickly is both impressive and hilarious. It's like watching a toddler discover the world for the first time, but with laser beams and the ability to drive cars.
Hey, this film also touches on the subject of military spending and the potential misuse of technology. It's not just a lighthearted romp, there's really a bit of social commentary in there too, guys.
That's what makes it stand out. It's not just a robot movie for kids, it has depth and heart. Plus, it doesn't talk down to its audience.
Alright guys, we've got to talk about the sequel, Short Circuit 2. Juju, did it live up to the first film?
Well, it's got its moments. It's more focused on the comedic aspects. And number 5 gets to explore the city more, which is fun. But I think the first one will always be the best.
I agree 100. While the sequel has some really entertaining scenes, it really doesn't quite catch the same magic as the original. But hey, that's often the case with sequels.
True. But it's still a fun watch. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about the cultural impact of Short Circuit. So many Gen Xers running around saying the iconic line, "Hey lizard lips, your mother's a snowblower."
Great. That's right, Juju. It was a huge deal in the 80s. The number 5 really became a sort of mascot for the era of robot movies. It showed that you could have a robot protagonist that wasn't just a mindless killer, but a lovable character you really want to root for.
Yes. And it's definitely a film that's left its mark. You can see echoes of it in other AI-centric movies and shows that came after, like Wall-E and The Iron Giant.
Absolutely. Short Circuit was a big part of the robot renaissance in the 80s, and it paved the way for the complex AI characters that everyone sees in modern cinema.
So Mike, final thoughts on Short Circuit. Does it still spark joy in your life?
Without a doubt, Juju. It is a timeless classic that still holds up. It's got charm, humor, and a touch of heart that's perfect for a cozy movie night.
I couldn't agree more. It's a film that takes you back to a simpler time and reminds you that even in the most complex situations, friendship can be the most powerful force of all.
Hey, and with that, guys, we're going to give Short Circuit a solid 4 out of 5 movie reels on Mike and Juju's Rillo-meter. If you haven't seen it, guys, do yourself a favor and go check it out. And if you have, you already know it's worth a rewatch.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of Mike and Juju's Movie Corner. Thanks for joining us on this trip down memory lane. Be sure to tune in next week when we'll be discussing another childhood favorite.
Hey, until then, keep your circuits happy and your hearts full of nostalgia.
Thank you for joining Mike and Juju on their journey through the cinematic wonders of their past. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Mike and Juju's Movie Corner, where the classics come back to life.